Chapter 19. Numerous unknown voices awaken me. Startled, I struggle to move my head and gratefully see Gavin asleep, several feet away on a canvas blanket draped on a pile of leaves. I sit up with my head hammering less so than what it was yesterday, which is a relief. The voices are stemming from the left. Men and women at a distance busily move about with different activities. There are more people here than I thought there'd be. A few are cooking. I inhale, and my body shakes at the scent. Roasted peppers and tofu sausage. It smells so good. My stomach growls. I am hungry. I feel hungry. I smile at the thought. This isn't the most pleasant feeling, but I love recognizing it. I cautiously swing my feet over the side of the cot, debating if I should try to stand on my own. Be careful. I jump at the voice and look over my shoulder. Liam is holding a cup and plate in his hands. Can I come closer? I nod and slide to the side of the cot to make room. Liam instead sits down on the ground facing me. Liam, I need to apologize. Don't. I understand. He lifts the plate in his hand. I brought you some food. Do you want to eat? Yes, thank you. Gratefully, I take the plate from him and survey the contents. Tiny chunks of peppers and sausages with a variety of berries and melons, all diced as though a toddler is eating them. I suppose it's fitting for my condition. I pick one of the red berries and put it in my mouth. The juice squirts my tongue. I've never been able to feel the texture of food. I toss the berry back and forth in my mouth and finally swallow. Instantly, my stomach twists. The food will not stay down. I grip the cot and focus on my breathing. Slow, small bites will be important. I wait a minute longer to ensure the queasiness is gone before popping another berry in my mouth. So how long have you been here? Hopefully the conversation will distract me as I attempt to eat. Liam swirls the contents inside his cup. He looks up at the sky as though judging the position of the sun and replies, It's been a couple of weeks now. Why did you leave Impetus? Then a horrible thought crosses my mind. Were you punished as well? No. He's a very expressive man. I can see his mind working as he considers each word. Well, not exactly. I try a diced sausage piece this time. The smoky flavor fills my senses. The food is so delicious. I shove another piece in my mouth before I swallow the last bit, eager to taste more. What happened then? I guess you can say Gavin saved me like he saved you. Despite the common hero, our stories are quite different, though. It actually happened not long after I first met you. Oh no. The heat wave rolls through my body. Dizziness strikes. I drop the plate and lean over to the side of the cot away from Liam as everything I ate travels up my throat and falls out of my mouth to the ground. Liam instantly jumps up and pulls my hair out of my face. He rubs my back as I heave, ruthlessly removing everything from my empty stomach. When I cannot hold myself up anymore, Liam tilts me back in his arms and skillfully pours drops of liquid from his cup down my throat. The cool water soothes the rawness. After the cup is empty, Liam leans me down until my head rests on the cot pillow. Get more rest, Evangeline. We will try food again later. Embarrassed by my body's response, I watch Liam honorably clean the mess I made and leave. I lie on my side, holding my stomach and wishing the nausea away. When I achingly flip to my other side, I think I catch Gavin's eyes open, but they close before I can be sure. I watch him for a while before my eyes grow heavier, and I let the exhaustion overtake me. The glass box surrounds me. No! I beat on the clear panel walls and scream as loudly as I can. Help me! Somebody help me! I lift my fist to bang them again, and when I do, the walls shrink. I pound again, and the walls shrink more. The box is getting smaller. A loud crack seizes my attention. Past the walls in the far distance is Gavin. Gavin, look at me. They put me in the box again. Help me. Gavin walks down the street with a brown bag and box in his hands as though he's on a leisurely afternoon stroll. His eyes are staring directly in mine. He must see me. Somebody can see me this time. As Gavin closes in, the earth violently shakes. The thickets crash to the ground and smoke billows up behind them. Gavin, run! You have to run! The aggressive trembling of the land causes Gavin to become unbalanced, but he continues to move forward. The roar grows more thunderous and distinct every second. The shiny steel frame appears, reflecting the sun's rays to light the scene behind Gavin in a blinding glow. The train's size multiplies as it rams buildings to get to its target. Turn around! Train! Watch out for the train! I pummel the walls, screaming, begging him to turn around to see what's coming for him. The box I'm in is getting smaller, smashing my face and body between the panes of glass. I can't breathe. Gavin is only feet from the box. That smirk of his, the one I've loved and loathed over the years, appears on his face. Before it can spread, I watch in horror as the train knocks him down. The thin wheels slice his body and turns him into unrecognizable mush. No, Gavin! Cold water splashes my face. Evangeline, wake up. I can't catch my breath. I am sobbing and crying and sweating. I can't breathe. The train is pushing against my chest, its weight choking me, smothering me. Gavin! I cry over and over. Gavin! Somebody yells, Get Gavin. Hurry. Tell him to get back now. Gavin? They're getting Gavin? He's alive? I force my eyes open, wiping the water from my face with the back of my hand. My body convulses. I can't find the strength to control it. Come here, says a voice. Someone drapes a blanket on my back and wraps arms around my body. My head presses against his chest. I can hear a heartbeat. I focus on the steady thump, thump, thump. Gavin. Gavin is alive. I take a deep breath in. Soap. Fresh rainwater and a scent I cannot place, but would be happy if it were the last thing I ever breathe in. I pull my head away from his chest and analyze the face. My hair catches in his chin stubble. That's not Gavin. Liam. My voice barely forces out his name. His hand travels from my upper back to my lower back, repeating the movement in cycles. Fiery ripples send chills to my nerves. I glance down at my arm and see those tiny bumps appear that initially showed up weeks ago when I first touched Liam. Suddenly he stops and pulls away. I'm sorry, Evangeline. I am probably the last person you want to comfort you. Gavin is hunting, and I know this is what he does when you have your nightmares, and, well, I didn't know what else to do. You seemed so distraught. I had to. I look at him, this man who has tried tirelessly to take care of me since I've been in Rebirth, the only one who can relate to what I've been through. I could try to describe it to others, and maybe they could be empathetic. But unless they had woken up after 18 years and discovered that the very same community who promised to protect them not only was a lie, but purposely forced them to experience painful suffering, then they would never truly comprehend how I feel. There will forever be an invisible wedge between us, of a life I experienced that they could never encounter. And right now, there's only one other person by me who understands not just the extreme physical alterations, but the deep, scarred mental struggle to still survive. There's only one who truly knows what I need because he's been through it too. Liam. His eyes are searching for a response in mine. the green glimmering in each other's hazel irises. Liam is kind and gentle despite his intimidating broad-shouldered frame. My eyes travel down to his mouth. His lips are slightly parted as he breathes, protected by the surrounding scruff as a slow-growing beard takes shape. Already he looks different from the clean-shaven man I had first met in a different world. I slide closer to Liam and return my head to its place on his chest. He seems hesitant, but then slips his arms around me. This time I anchor my arms on his waist to hold on as though I am afraid of being taken to the box again, and we drift to sleep. The morning sun shines on my face. For the first time in my life, I can feel its warmth. All I want is to lounge in it all day. I envision a battery inside of me that the sun is charging because that's exactly what it feels like. I finally have energy again. When I try to move, I become aware of the muscular arm gripping my side. My eyes survey the scene while I keep the rest of my body fixed. One of Liam's arms is propped under my neck and the other around my waist. The steady rhythm of his heart beats against my back. There is something so familiar about these arms. I want to outline the veins, touch the little hairs that pepper his skin, but I don't want to move for fear he'll stop holding me. Inch by inch, I turn my body around until I am face to face with a sleeping Liam. A serene smile brightens his face, revealing deep lines on the sides of his eyes. His breathing is steady and calming. I wonder what he is dreaming about, or if he's dreaming at all. Good morning. Surprised, I lift my head. Gavin is standing behind Liam. I quickly sit up, which wakes Liam. His eyes slowly open and he blinks. His thick eyelashes lap over his eyes as he adjusts to what my eyes have already taken in. He sheepishly smiles as redness fills his cheeks. Then he jumps backward off the cot like a grasshopper and plows into Gavin. Hi, Gavin. Evangeline. Liam nods once before he turns and jogs to the center of Rebirth to escape a potentially awkward encounter. I stifle a giggle while Gavin stoically watches him leave before sitting down on the cot in Liam's place with his back to me. I recline on the cot to better see his face. Did you have another nightmare? Yes, earlier I did. I am sorry I wasn't here for you again, Evie. It's okay, I reassure him. Liam was here. Gavin stands without saying a word. He paces back and forth with his hands behind his back as he grips one wrist. What's wrong? Gavin stops and looks at me with a clenched jaw. Eventually, he releases the tension in his face and resigns to the cot once again. His tone is soft as he replies, I just want to be here for you. That's all. It's okay, Gavin. I know you have responsibilities here. This is your community. I don't expect you to be with me all the time. Gavin twists his body so he can face me and places his hand on my cheek, lightly stroking it. My head tilts to the side, craving his touch. But you are my priority. A heavy sigh escapes his lips. What is it? Gavin shakes his head. Despite saying he regrets not telling me things, he's clearly still holding information back. I will get you some breakfast. Actually, can you help me walk? I need to move more. I'm feeling better today, and kind of sick of this cot. Gavin's eyes sparkle. Yeah, that's a great idea. I'd love for you to meet everyone. He angles himself to slide one arm under mine and says, You're sure you're ready for this, right? Just speak up if it gets to be too much. I nod and we stand in unison. Looking down, I notice a gray hoodie that Gavin must have put on me. Underneath it, the green dress is poking out. The dark spots are visible and splattered about. Gavin notices my face twisted in disgust and says, I had one of the women give you a cloth bath while you were sleeping. She tried to clean you up as much as possible. Once you can move better, we have clothes for you and can direct you to the bathing area. Okay, I mumble. Then a smile replaces the embarrassment about my appearance. Gavin, those emotions you taught me? They're all quickly making sense. He laughs, and the muscles ripple under his shirt where my arm touches. These are things I've never noticed before. And you thought the feelings game was stupid, he teases me. We amble to a clearing in the woods, a mixture of voices greeting us. People are milling about everywhere, maybe 20 or 30 within eyesight. They are all working hard, gathering food, cooking, building huts and walls around Rebirth. Never stopping, like there's an immediate goal to reach. Did something happen recently to Rebirth? I asked Gavin. What do you mean? Everything looks new, like they're rebuilding. Oh, yeah, I can see why this is confusing. He stops walking and bites his bottom lip. His fingers drum against his thigh. Rebirth is... well, it's new. And it's not really a full community. It's more of a movement. That doesn't make any sense. I've known Gavin for 12 years. How can his community be new? And how can one move? He had to have been born somewhere, raised somewhere, lived somewhere. Listen, I will tell you, I promise. It's a long story, and right now I want to get you introduced to Rebirth so you know your way around. We will talk about all of this. Trust me, please. Gavin lifts his lips to my forehead and stops mid-air. Despite my pain, a burning from within urges me to lean forward, to encourage his lips to touch my forehead. And this feeling, it surprises me. He steps back, keeping his supporting arm around my waist, but now I can better see his eyes. In a rapid moment, he's back to my side, holding me up, and we are taking steps forward as though nothing had happened. Before I can think much more about it, Gavin yells out, "Marlena! Hey, come here for a sec." A tall, slender woman, tan from the sun with long brown hair pulled into a ponytail, glistens with sweat. She is leaning over a thick log, sawing as flecks of sawdust float in the air around her. She looks up when she hears Gavin call her name, and waves with her free hand. She finishes sawing through the wood, sets the saw on the ground, and jogs our way. As she gets closer, I see how beautiful she is. So much so I draw in my breath from the surprise. She pushes the goggles to the top of her head and wipes away the dust from her face with the back of her hand. Perfectly placed freckles sprinkle her nose and cheeks, like the artist who designed her knew exactly what would mesmerize and captivate admirers the most. Her teeth have only the slightest gap in the two front ones, which somehow enhances her allure. I know right away who this is. It's Gavin's pairing. She's precisely as I pictured her, opposite of me in almost every single way. Inside, a pinch in my stomach tells me this is a brand new emotion. Jealousy. "Hi," she says in a peppy tone, contagious just like her smile. "I'm Marlena." Marlena cuts me off. "Evangeline, I know. Oh, trust me, I know. I've heard so much about you, I can't even tell you how excited I am to meet you." She softly hugs me, careful of my condition. "Marlena is the one who helped clean you when we first brought you here," Gavin explains. Of course she would be a saint. I'm sure she's perfect in every sense of the word. I think bitterly. Ugh, I hate this jealousy thing. Why am I feeling so negatively about a woman who helped me? I force my best smile and say, "Thank you for helping me, and," I cough, "for letting me borrow Gavin all these years." She laughs and playfully punches Gavin in the shoulder. "You know our Gavin here. He does whatever he wants to." Gavin chuckles. "You keep a pretty tight leash on me, though." There's a boiling sensation in my chest. They have a strong bond, and she knows about me. He must tell her everything, just like I had thought. Now I understand why he never shared much about his own life with me. He already had someone to share all of that with. I know you're still healing, but once you're able to get around more, I'll show you the full ropes of Rebirth. I have a gift for you. Hold on for a minute. She jogs to a hut on the side and goes inside. She's sweet, I mutter to Gavin. Yeah, she's a good find, he responds, as though she is an adopted pet and not his pairing. Marlena soon reappears. Trotting back to us, her ponytail bounces with each step. In her hand is a destructed leather backpack. This is for you. She hands it to me and then changes her mind by giving it to Gavin instead, which tells me I must still look weak. It has changes of clothes, undergarments, and basic hygiene necessities. If you need anything else at any point, don't hesitate to ask me. I'm always around and more than happy to help. Thanks, Marlena. I really appreciate it. Soap and a fresh change of clothes are as good as getting a brand new chance at life, and every ounce of me is grateful. Oh, she squeals. I'm just so excited you're here. She hugs me again and holds my free hand in hers for a second. You will love it here, I promise, she whispers before squeezing my hand and releasing it to turn back to her woodwork. I glance at Gavin, who is proudly smiling while watching Marlena walk away. He looks back down at me as though remembering I'm still here, attached to his waist since I can't do anything on my own. Ready to see some other parts? I nod, sucking down the jealousy that wrestles with my heart. Are you still feeling okay? He asks, concern shadowing his face. I nod again. There's no way I'm telling him I've experienced jealousy as an emotion for the first time. Maybe a little weak, I say instead, which is the truth, just not the core feeling I'm consumed by. Okay, we won't go much further. Gavin shifts so I can rebalance my weight on him. We walk together a little longer, making a tiny circle at the core of Rebirth as Gavin uses his other hand to point out different features of this new community. He shows me where the primary cooking occurs and where they store all the excess food. He points out the building designated for bathrooms with men on one side and women on the other. There's an area with various tools and equipment used as the fitness arena, and huts that some people prefer over open-air cots. There's no electricity here, so that'll take some getting used to. We use fire to cook, for light, and to heat anything else up that needs it. But you'll adjust quickly, I'm sure. Gavin, am I staying here? The thought hits me for the first time while it simultaneously escapes my lips. Gavin pulls me to a large log and steadies me as I sit down. Straddling it next to me, he asks, You don't want to go back to Impetus, do you? I mean, how could you possibly want to go back? I haven't really thought about it. There's just been so much. A thick heaviness covers my throat, tightening it. I swallow and start again. There's just been so much, Gavin. Ever since I woke up, and in my dreams when I sleep, and in the life before this, which somehow feels so far away right now, but yet still like yesterday. I don't know where to start with any of it. I don't know what to let go of and what to move toward. Gavin puts his arm around my shoulder and pulls me into him. I breathe in his comforting, familiar scent. It'll take time, Evie. This is why I want to hold off on sharing everything at once with you. There's a lot to absorb. I know you're strong. I've seen you. I know you're strong. But I have to protect you as much as I can, and for the first time since I've met you, I finally can. I will never take that role lightly. I shake my head to protest, but all that comes out of my mouth is a weak, but my eyes are remarkably heavy. Nausea swims in my stomach. The world tilts. Sleep, I say instead. Gavin quickly throws the backpack over his shoulder and picks me up in his arms. Cradling close to him, I feel incredibly light, like I'm floating. I'm rising above Rebirth. I wonder if I'm dying, and this is how it feels. At least I now know how to feel. Why does Gavin's community allow him to feel, yet mine banned it? I'm seeing Rebirth from the air, viewing it as the birds would, people walking around happy beneath me. They know happiness. Numb, I think. That's the word Gavin taught me years ago. That's how I've lived my entire life so far. I've been numb. Now, I want to feel. I want to know what Gavin's lips on my forehead feel like. I want strong arms around me. I want others to know freedom. I want to be happy every day.